Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV, and I'm the editor here at MetaStellar. And with me today is AMIRA LOUTFI, our reviews editor. Every Friday, AMIRA and I, and whoever else in our team we can rope into helping us with this, read the top 10 free sci-fi and fantasy books on Amazon. We don't read like the whole book. We usually get through the first few chapters, and we tell you if we like it or not, and if we're going to keep on reading. So this week we have all the usual good stuff, plenty of paranormal romance, some hard sci-fi, some adventure books. We've got pretty much something for everybody. And let us get started with the first book on our list. And this is about a galactic empire. So that is very much a hard sci-fi book. Here's the picture of it, picture of the cover behind me. The Eye of the Gods by Odette Bell. The first of 5 books in the Eye of Gods Galactic Empire science fiction series. The other books are $3 each. They are not in Kindle Unlimited, so you'd have to pay cash for them. And Alex read this for us, and he says that from what he can tell, this is a book about 2 people who really want a painting. And there's some exciting action involving a spaceship almost blowing up in outer space. And then it kind of slows down, he says. But he really likes the book. The writing, he says, is engaging. And the story is interesting enough that he wants to keep reading. And if you like tech, there's plenty of spaceship and robots right from the very beginning. So the main character is Vivian Bond, who is hired to collect items for rich clients, and those clients do favors for her in return. And she does this to raise money for her father's business that creates medical robotic devices to keep people alive. So a crook with a heart of gold. Okay. And so she buys this painting for a client, but everything goes wrong. And she gets arrested, and the guy who arrests her also uses some technology to turn off her illegally installed pacemaker. So, I mean, just complications just keep ramping up. So it sounds really intriguing, and I can see why he liked it. The next book I read, and it couldn't be more different, Hexes and Hot Flashes by Lisa Manifold. And it's exactly what you think it is from the title. It's the first of 6 books in the Oracle of Winter paranormal romance series. The other books are between $2 and $5 each. The 6th book is currently available for pre-order and will be coming out this month. And all of the books are in Kindle Unlimited. And it's a cozy mystery. So Winter Chastain is in her mid-40s. She's a widow. Her kids are in college. She's gotten some bad news about her dead husband. And after grieving for a while, she heads out to a bar, picks up a guy. And while she's in the bathroom, the hotel room that they're staying in is trashed. The guy's gone. A mysterious bracelet is left behind, which of course she puts on. She calls the cops. The bracelet magically vanishes off her hand, but she's now an oracle and people are coming to her for advice. So, okay. But you know what? It sounds kind of hokey, but it was a lot of fun to read. I liked Winter. And the book had more than 1,000 positive reviews, and the author is a New York Times bestseller. So, you know, I can see sticking with this book over the weekend. It's just a fun read. Next, we have a book that Nick read, one of our other contributors. And this is the first of 4 books in the Jesebel Files urban fantasy series. And I kind of wish that I'd read it instead, because he describes it as full of snark, and I love books full of snark. So there's a private investigator who doesn't have any magic of her own. She's hired to track a young girl who has magic, and but she's unregistered and she's kind of hiding out. And Nick says it gets right in with the action. It has a gritty feel with its first person narration. And the main character doesn't have any special abilities at all, but he lives in this magical world. She lives in a magical world. And the only problem he has with this book is that there's a lot of sass. So I would see that as a selling point. But he says, even though he's not a urban fantasy fan, he says he might stick with it because it's a lot of fun. Next is a book we both read. I read it by accident. I didn't realize AMIRA was reading it. But AMIRA, you go first. What do you think of Never His Mate by Sarah Spade? The first of 5 books in the Claws and Fangs urban fantasy paranormal romance series.
I thought it's really good if you like shifter romances where the mates reject one another and then the male shifter later comes crawling back. So in this world, there's only one other female alpha, and she's worshipped as a goddess. She has a bunch of special powers, and for that reason, she tries to keep her status as an alpha a secret, right? But then she finds out that her mate has been unfaithful. She gets really upset and angry, and then her alpha vibes come out, and people find out that she's an alpha just because she's so furious with him, right? And she decides to leave town, and she goes to, she moves into another town that has vampires in it. Yeah, and that's actually where I stopped reading. I did enjoy it. I thought the scene where she gets angry is like really good. So yeah, I recommend it for people who like this genre.
All right. So I don't like this genre. And like I said, I read it by accident. I hate fated mates. I hate werewolf vampire love triangles, which this one has. I'm not saying these are bad tropes. Plenty of people love these tropes, and this book has tons of positive reviews. People love it, but definitely not for me. Super readable though. So if you do like this kind of thing, it's very much a fun book. I got as far as where she's working as a bartender for the vampire. And I was like, yeah, no.
He said that he gives her a necklace that prevents
with his fang on it.
Yeah.
And he's like super old and creepy.
I mean, yeah, I can see why people like that though. That sounds kind of cool to me. Let's come back. That's what I might come back to.
All right. Next is a book that you've read multiple times, or you've read parts of this book multiple times. So this is a series of 25 books at the last count. I mean, number increases like daily. So this is the Romance and Medieval Fairy Tale series by Demelza Carlton. The other books are $4 each. They're not on Kindle Unlimited. But like every week, she seems to have different books up as free. So if you like this kind of book, and if you like this particular series, just keep an eye on the author. At one point or other, I think we've reviewed all of the books in this one. So this particular box set has in it Enchant, which is Beauty and the Beast retold, Dance, Cinderella retold, and Fly, Goose Girl retold. So which one did you read, AMIRA?
Cinderella. I read the Cinderella one. So I think it's great if you like a twist on fairy tales. The writing style is very much like an old fairy tale. And the setting though is inspired by Asian culture. So in this version, Cinderella is named Mai, and her father is the greatest general in the empire. She learns martial arts from him. their mother dies and he remarries at the command of their emperor. And then Mai has a new stepmother, and she is mean and cruel. Her name is Jing, and she has 2 daughters herself, and she breaks their feet so that they will be, I don't know, able to attract a husband when they get older. She's like breaking their feet, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then one day a messenger arrives, and he thinks that Mai is a boy, and he suggests that she might join the war. There's going to be a war. And he gives her a letter, right? And then Mai gives the letter to her father. It's for her father, right? And the father is furious because this is the emperor is telling him that he has to get involved in a war, right? So there are a lot of suggestions that Mai will fall in love and that she'll join the war, or she'll be some kind of fighter, right? She's going to be some kind of talented, skillful fighter. So if you're interested in that and you like an old fairy tale style writing style, then yeah, then I would say go for it. I'm not going to be back though.
All right, and let's see. The next book is Hanna and the Hitman by Phillips, the 8th of 14 books in the Alien Abduction sci-fi romance series. And the other books are $3 to $4 each, and they're all in Kindle Unlimited. And these books have been showing up on this list almost weekly. And AMIRA, you've read like a lot of them, right? At this point.
Sometimes I really like these alien human romances. I'm sorry. I think I completed one of them, like I finished one of them in the past. But at the very least, I like reading the beginnings of them so far. This one, I might actually come back and like finish it. So the basic, premise is that there's a human woman. She's, she teams up with a priest, and the priest works for the Caesarian Empire, and this is an empire that spans multiple planets. And the priest is on a mission to assassinate someone. When he finds her. So he is immediately smitten by her. He thinks she's beautiful. And he also feels sorry for her. So he lets her go, or he buys her freedom, right? And then he decides to let her come along with him because she doesn't know how to survive on this alien planet. So that's basically the plot of the story. I like the world. I think all the planets are interesting. There are a bunch of alien races that are bizarre, and the descriptions are fun and entertaining. So yeah, I like it, and I probably will come back.
All right. Next we have Playing with Fire. There we go. There's the cover. Let me zoom in and out for you guys. Let me try that again. There we go. Playing with Fire by Mila Young and Harper Brooks. The first of 7 books in the Sin Demons paranormal romance series. The other books are $3 to $6 each, and they're all in Kindle Unlimited. So I didn't read the description of this book before I started reading it. And yeah, I'm the one who read it. So normally looking at the cover, I wouldn't read it, but I had to, so I did. So I tried to read it without any preconceptions. Arya is about to turn 18, and she lives in a foster home, and she's a really good thief, and so she's gonna steal something from the town's most popular antique store, which just got in a new magical artifact, one that's supposed to be worth 6 figures. And she has a magic talent. She can sense magic, particularly evil magic. So she uses that to find this magical orb of chaos, which is just calling to her. This opening chapter is great. It's full of excitement. She's breaking into this place. She's battling these guardian dogs and all this other stuff. I loved it. she was a great character. I'm like, I'm really into this book. And then she comes home. It's her last day at home because, like I said, she's turning 18 and she's going to be aging out of the foster care system. And so it turns out her daddy has sold her, foster father has just sold her. He sold her to some demons on the day before she turns 18, and the demons show up and collect her. And she tries to fight them off. The demon knocks her out, takes her back to their lair. Turns out there's 3 of them. One's the demon of pride, one's a sex demon, and the 3rd demon. And the point of view switches to the demons. And I'm like, oh no, she's going to end up with all the demons. And I went back and I read the description. And yes, it's a reverse harem romance. She will end up with all of the demons. And which explains why they're all like magically hot and they all get point of view chapters. So yuck. I mean, they bought her. They're going to eat her soul. And somehow she's going to end up with them. But also, I really like Aria. And the book is very, very steamy. So I don't know how I feel about that. But let's just move along. Okay. I read this next book, Leaf of Faith by Lisa Bouchard, and it could not be more different. Again, we have a young magic wielding woman, but this is a cozy mystery. So it's the first of 9 books in the Isabella Proctor cozy mystery series set in a small town in, like, was it New Hampshire or something, on the coast. And she has an apartment by herself with a best friend, and she works in a bakery where she serves coffee. And she has an unpaid internship with an apothecary where she's learning to mix potions and stuff. It is so adorable. It is so cute. And then the owner of the apothecary is murdered. And the protagonist, Isabella, decides to investigate this murder. There's no reason for her to investigate. The cops are on the case. But this wouldn't be a cozy mystery if she didn't. And so I'm all for it. It is so cute. It is very sweet. I love the small town feel. I love the warm family dynamics, all the good stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna stick with this book. There's a lot of bad news out there, and I think this will be a nice little mental break.
Have you seen Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz, the police comedy.
Yeah.
Yes. That is my genre. All right. So next, we've got The Four Horsemen by L.J. Swallow, a box set of the first 3 books in the Four Horsemen occult suspense series. The other books are $3 to $4 each. And the entire 9-book series is in Kindle Unlimited. So Verity is a woman who can tell no lies, according to Nick, one of our contributors. And she's pursued by 4 men who claim to be the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And it's true. They actually are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. She's the 5th one, or could be. He says that it's a slow build romance and has steamy sex scenes later on, and it's another reverse harem. So it means she's gonna end up with all the guys. So Nick was a little bored with the beginning, which starts out with Verity at her very boring day job. The book is well done, he says. The writing is very readable, and but he didn't like it. There was too much of the romance and not enough of the plot. but Nick's more of a action plot kind of guy. If you like romance, steamy romance with 4 guys, here you go. Next is a book that I read, The Last Shifter by Sadie Moss. It's a box set of 4 books, all 4 books in the series. They're normally $5 each. So it's a good deal. This is the second time this book has been on our list. I read it the first time, and I kind of liked it. So Alexis is 21. She's a patient in a medical complex. She spent a decade in quarantine. Her mom visits her every week. There's other patients there. She's suffering from a rare autoimmune disease that they're trying to cure. And the firm that's running this research facility is trying to cure this disease, and so they're funding her treatment. So she's very grateful. Then she's she's rescued from there by a group of men who show up trying to save one of their own, not her, somebody else. During all this stuff, her mother shows up. Alexis tries to run towards her mother, and her mother tries to shoot her. So turns out she's not her mother, and this corporation is experimenting on people, trying to turn them into shifters, and she's one of the experiments. And so she escapes with these guys to the state of Washington, where they're hoping to meet up with some more shifters and find a woman they were actually looking for. So I liked this book. It was interesting. The writing was readable. The characters are compelling. It pulled you in, but it didn't pull me in to actually stick with it. I was planning to, but when I was thinking about like, what book should I read next? Should I come back to this? I was like, nah. But again, this has quite a bit of a romance in it, and I tend not to be pulled in as much by romance. So that was it for the books for this week. Let us know if you like any of them. And AMIRA, thanks for joining me, and I hope you'll join me next week. And if you guys like this kind of content, please support our channel by hitting the like and subscribe button. It really helps us. And you can also support us on Patreon. Your supports help pays for the original fiction that we publish on the MetaStellar website. We publish science fiction, fantasy, and horror, original fiction and reprints and excerpts and reviews and news articles and essays and all sorts of stuff. All the links are in the description box below. And let us know if you read any of those books and what you think of them. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, Mira.
Bye.